Hello everyone, and welcome to UFO Evidence. What if I told you that some of the most credible UFO witnesses aren't staring up at the sky, but looking down at Earth from the vast emptiness of space? Today we're diving into the astonishing and often classified encounters that astronauts have had with unidentified flying objects. These aren't just blurry photos from the ground. These are first-hand accounts from the most highly trained observers to ever leave our planet. From the pioneering days of the Mercury program to the modern era of the International Space Station, the stories are consistent and compelling. So, buckle up as we blast off into a journey through declassified files, personal testimonies, and official mission logs to explore the UFOs seen by the very people who have ventured into the final frontier. Let's rewind to the dawn of the space age, the Mercury program. On May 15, 1963, astronaut Gordon Cooper was on his final orbit of the Earth during the Faith 7 mission. As he passed over Perth, Australia, he reported seeing a greenish glowing object approaching his capsule. The object was tracked by the Muchea tracking station on the ground, which confirmed its presence. According to reports, Cooper was ordered by his superiors not to discuss the incident upon his return. For years he remained tight-lipped. However, decades later, Cooper became a vocal advocate for UFO disclosure. In a letter to the United Nations in 1978, he wrote, "I believe that these extraterrestrial vehicles and their crews are visiting this planet from other planets. We have been contacted, perhaps even visited, by extraterrestrial beings." Coming from one of America's original 7 astronauts, this wasn't just speculation. It was a bombshell testimony. The Gemini program, which followed Mercury, had its own share of unexplained sightings. One of the most famous involves the legendary duo, James McDivitt and Ed White, during their Gemini 4 mission in June 1965. This was the mission where Ed White performed the first American spacewalk. While in orbit, McDivitt spotted what he described as a cylindrical object with a long arm sticking out of it. He grabbed his camera and started taking pictures, but the lighting and the window glare made it difficult. He described it as definitely having a shape and being a real object. NASA later tried to identify it as everything from a piece of debris to the Titan II rocket booster, but McDivitt remained adamant. He insisted, "I was close enough to it to see that it had a shape and a form. It definitely was not a satellite that I was familiar with." This case remains one of the most well-documented astronaut UFO sightings in NASA's history. Then we have the Apollo missions, humanity's grandest voyage to the moon. You would think that with the world watching every move, everything would be open and public. But there are persistent stories of strange encounters. During the historic Apollo 11 mission, there are unconfirmed but widely circulated reports of a mysterious transmission. According to these accounts, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin saw something extraordinary on the lunar surface shortly after landing. They allegedly reported seeing large objects lined up on the rim of a crater, watching them. The story goes that they switched to a secure medical channel to discuss it with mission control. While NASA has always officially denied this secret transmission, the rumor has persisted for over 50 years, fueled by former NASA employees and researchers who claim to have inside knowledge. Aldrin himself has been more cryptic. In interviews, he has spoken about an object they saw on the way to the moon, which he and the crew couldn't identify. He reasoned it might have been one of the panels from their own rocket, but he could never be entirely certain. The crew of Apollo 12 also had a strange experience. Astronauts Alan Bean, Pete Conrad, and Dick Gordon reported seeing a flashing object that seemed to be following their spacecraft. They initially thought it was the SIVB booster, but mission control confirmed the booster was thousands of miles away. They observed it for a while, unable to explain what it was. Alan Bean later commented on the vastness of the universe, stating that it would be incredibly arrogant to think we are the only intelligent life. He felt it was not only possible but probable that other civilizations exist and have been visiting us for a long time. These aren't just casual remarks. They are considered reflections from individuals who have seen our planet from a perspective few ever will. The era of the space shuttle brought even more opportunities for observation, and with it, more incredible sightings. One of the most visually stunning pieces of evidence comes from the STS-48 mission of the Space Shuttle Discovery in 1991. The shuttle's camera captured a series of objects moving in an intelligent, non-ballistic manner. In the footage, you can see a bright object on the horizon. Suddenly, a flash of light occurs near the bottom of the screen, and the object instantly changes direction and accelerates off into deep space at an impossible speed, as if dodging something. Skeptics claim it was just ice particles reacting to thruster firings. However, many physicists and optical experts have analyzed the footage and concluded that the object's sudden change in trajectory and immense acceleration defy the explanation of simple ice crystals. The movement appears controlled and deliberate, leading many to believe it was a genuine UFO captured on a NASA camera. Another compelling case is from the STS-75 mission in 1996, known for the tethered satellite experiment. The experiment failed when the 12-mile-long tether snapped. As the broken tether drifted away, the shuttle's cameras captured what appeared to be a swarm of disc-shaped objects moving around it. NASA's official explanation was that these were ice crystals and debris illuminated by the sun. However, the objects appear to move in formation, and some even seem to pass behind the tether, which helps to establish their distance and size, making the ice crystal theory less plausible for many researchers. The footage is mesmerizing and has been dubbed the Tether Incident. It remains one of the most debated pieces of UFO footage ever released by the agency. Even on the International Space Station, astronauts continue to report anomalies. In 2005, astronaut Leroy Chiao, while serving as commander of the ISS, was on a spacewalk. He reported seeing a line of strange lights that flew past them. He described them as 5 or 6 lights in a line that flew by in a checkmark formation. He was perplexed, as there were no satellites or other known objects scheduled to be in that area at that time. His Russian crewmate, Salizhan Sharipov, did not see the objects as he was facing a different direction. Chow remains open-minded about the experience, acknowledging that while it could have been something mundane like fishing boat lights from the ocean below, the formation and speed were unlike anything he had ever seen from orbit. These accounts from astronauts like Cooper, McDivitt, Aldrin, and Chow are profoundly significant. These individuals are not prone to fantasy or exaggeration. They are scientists, engineers, and test pilots, selected for their stability, discipline, and keen observational skills. Their job is to operate multi-billion-dollar equipment in the most unforgiving environment imaginable, where a single miscalculation can be fatal. When a person with this level of training and credibility reports seeing something they cannot explain, it carries immense weight. They have nothing to gain and, in many cases, everything to lose by speaking out. For decades, the subject was taboo, and many feared ridicule or career damage. Yet as they retired, many felt a duty to share what they had witnessed. They argue that humanity has a right to know that we may not be alone in the universe. So, what does this all mean? We have a collection of extraordinary testimonies from our most trusted explorers. From glowing green orbs and cylindrical craft to swarms of disks and formations of lights, the patterns are intriguing. While official explanations often point to space debris, ice crystals, or misidentified satellites, the witnesses themselves frequently dispute these conclusions. They were there. They saw it with their own eyes. The sheer volume of these astronaut sightings, combined with their credible backgrounds, makes it a powerful body of evidence that cannot be easily dismissed. It pushes us to ask bigger questions about our place in the cosmos and the true nature of the reality we are only just beginning to explore. The final frontier might be far more crowded than we ever imagined. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into astronaut UFO encounters here at UFO Evidence. What do you think? Are these highly trained observers the most reliable witnesses we have? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this information as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next investigation into the unknown. See you next time.